With Twin Suns, Rebels keeps up the trend of giving us some really great stuff for the second half of Season 3. The first thing that's immediately clear with this episode is that it nails atmosphere. The clouds, the sand, the sun, the wind, it sucks me into the environment more than any Rebels episode ever has. I've always said that Rebels has done atmosphere really well, but it was particularly good in this episode. And it had to be. So much of this episode is itself atmospheric, and if it wasn't good in that department, I think it would have fallen short of the mark. Of course, they're taking a lot of their cues from A New Hope to make this work, and some of the callbacks were maybe just a little too precisely copied, but overall, A+ in this category. Moving into other territory, Obi-Wan was pretty perfect. Stephen Stanton provided the voice, and as he did with the voice of Tarkin, he totally nails Old Ben. I've long since accepted Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan as the same character in the original films, but I never 100% felt like animated Obi-Wan was the same person as either Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan or Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan, but this Obi-Wan, completely authentic in my mind. Now, going on to Maul, at first I thought that Maul wasn't really being consistent in this episode. I got the impression that Maul's plan of revenge against Obi-Wan was to make Obi-Wan suffer, not to kill him. But the more I thought about it, this was Maul speaking from a place of power, and from his position, it was easy to knock Obi-Wan down a few levels. It was easy to see him as weak and pathetic and easily manipulated, but Maul loses everything. His power, his prestige, his favored position with the Sith. And from his point of view, he even lost Obi-Wan to the Jedi Purge. And when everything is taken from him, what does he really have left? Obi-Wan points it out in this episode.
If you define yourself by your power to take life, your desire to dominate, to possess, then you have nothing.
Maul literally has nothing but his lust for domination. Psychological manipulation failed him when he couldn't sway Ezra to his side, so all he has left is his brute force, his talent for killing. Discovering that Obi-Wan is alive has finally given Maul some kind of purpose again, so his final quest to kill Obi-Wan is Maul's last desperate attempt at domination at any scale possible. So it actually makes a lot of sense in the end, and it's really consistent with his character. So this brings us to the ultimate moment, the final duel. I think this fight might be pretty polarizing for a lot of fans, but for me, it was perfect. Lightsaber duels are not merely action. They're best when they're character moments in and of themselves, and this one-sided 3-move duel proves within a moment who is the stronger of the two. It's exactly what it should be. We didn't need another epic duel between these opponents. We needed a strong, climactic character moment, and we got that. Not to mention that this approach doesn't undermine the action of A New Hope, but it respects that more muted, more Japanese dueling style. And of course, this duel is a solid homage to the sorts of sword fights we'd see in Kurosawa films, which were a major inspiration behind Star Wars. This duel very closely reflects a duel in The Seven Samurai, where Kyuzo, a master swordsman, is confronted by a brash and nameless challenger. He shouts and stomps and puffs himself up, contrasted with the calm Kyuzo who silently shifts his stance before holding his ground and delivering the final blow. And this is exactly how I think lightsaber duels ought to go down most of the time. A huge amount of the battle would be psychological, sizing up each other's skill and force sensitivity and mentally planning exactly the sort of move that will defeat their opponent instantly. The one with the better foresight and skillful execution would win. But I also understand the entertainment value of a drawn-out duel, so long as it's actually compelling to watch and not just two dudes dancing. For instance, I love the final segment of the duel in Return of the Jedi. It's raw and visceral and emotionally charged, and honestly, so is this duel. It's just really short, and is now, in my opinion, one of the most memorable duels in the franchise. This episode wasn't all good, of course. Nothing really is. For instance, why did we need Chopper? I understand Ezra, and we got a great scene with him and Obi-Wan, but Chopper serves literally no purpose for the narrative. He's only a distraction. I mean, I guess they wanted Ezra to talk to somebody, but it just wasn't worth it. Also, I noticed something that kind of bugged me. That last scene with Obi-Wan looking from afar at the Lars homestead, that's not the Lars homestead. Sure, there are some basic similarities, such as the orientation and the general shape of the structures, but that's it. This structure looks nothing like it's supposed to. It appears square as opposed to a disc in the film, and the iconic dome structure is way too big. Look how small Luke is there. That'd be like sizing the building up to this in the movie. So is this an error, an oversight, a mistake? Some kind of temp artwork that was never replaced? Or am I missing something with the perspective and the shapes here? Anyway, that's more of a nitpick than anything. Twin Suns was a solid episode. Great character moments, awesome duel, amazing atmosphere. I think this one's going down in the history books. What are your thoughts? Did you like the bold decision to have a 3-move duel? Or were you hoping for more? Were Maul's motivations consistent with his character, or do you think they just kind of tacked this on to give him closure? Let me know in the comments. If you like my videos and you don't want to miss any of my weekly content, make sure to subscribe. And of course, thanks for watching, liking, commenting, and sharing this video with your friends, and I'll see you next time.